Hi Year 10 students. Today we're going to very quickly go through some of the things you need to do for your assignment. That includes collecting data from the BOM, going over some of the calculations you need to do, and some of the graphs you need to do. The first thing we need to do is go to BOM, and you need to go to bom.gov.au/climate/data and choose some of the data you may want. So some people might want some rainfall, some people might want temperature. So today I'm going to do temperature. I'm going to look at the maximum. I have the option to look at the minimum there. Okay, maximum, and I'm going to choose daily. Daily I think will give me just a bit more information that I can use inside my analysis. I'm going to choose a location, and in this section here I'm going to type in Charters Towers. Already typed it in once, it's there for me. A town up in North Queensland. Okay, selecting the matching town will show you some of the a number of the weather stations around. I'm just going to choose the local airport, and it shows me that I've got data dating back to roughly 1995. Okay, selecting the section 3 get data, it will open a new window and have a big table there full of information for me. Okay, 2019 is no good, it's kind of empty, we can't predict the future just yet, so we need to go back and look at our historical data starting with 2018. 2018 there gives me a table which I'm going to highlight, selecting all the way down to the 31st and no further, because I don't really want those numbers to skew my data. Copy it and paste it into a new sheet here that I'm going to rename and call raw data, and because you've got 3 cities or towns, I'm going to say CT for my town to help me identify which one's which. Pasting it here, I have a lovely table for 2018. Now 2018 is great, but I want to see if there's some patterns and trends, and I want some more information, so I'm going to go back and change this value here to give me 2017's data. It'll do a quick refresh automatically. I can copy and paste again just to the 31st. Copy, paste. You may choose to do that a number of times for a number of years. I'll choose 3 years. You can do up to 10, you can do 15, up to you. It's up to you to figure out whether, what data is sufficient for you. My web pages are stuffed up. I'm just going to hit F5 to refresh that. Wow, that's proper stuffed up. Let's try again. 2015. There we go. 2016. Of my 2016 for whatever reason. I'm going to see if I can drag it down anyway. Alright. Nope. That's really weird. Okay, let's try once more. Of course I'm filming this, it's going to stuff up for me. Right, I'm going to ignore 2016 and get 2015's data. Trying again, scrolling down all the way to the 31st. Copy, copy, copy. Okay, so pasting it here, I now have 3 years worth of data. Okay, obviously without 2016 there, it might be a little bit skewed. That's up to, we'll still be able to, for our purposes, show us some information. I'm just deleting these 2 extra sections, dragging 2017 across so I know that all that data below is 2017. Okay, deleting that and getting that information. Going to delete this graph. Now there's some pictures here that come across, they've got hyperlinks to them. If you don't click them, they don't do anything. If you wanted to delete them and they're annoying you, you can hold the control button and select them each and delete them, but they will not impact any of your drawing. Okay, so that's our collection of data from the Bureau. Let's go to an analysis. Now I've set up a page here for our analysis. Okay, I've got my months set across the top. These are just cells filled in with the words. And in this section here, I will put in the formulas. Alright, first formula is just, wrong cell. First formula is just one called equals quartile. Okay, and I want quartile.inc, which is inclusive of most data. So I hit tab there, and that'll fill in that whole formula. And then I'm going to go select my data, the array, the range. I go to my table raw data, and I'm going to select all of January. So highlighting down the page all the way to the bottom. Okay. I'm going to hit the comma button, and then I'm going to hit 0, because the first value I want is the minimum value. And that's just telling the formula to work out the quartile for this data, this information. I hit the wrong button. This information, and I want the first quartile, the minimum value. Okay, I can hit equals and type in the same thing, quartile INC, select the same data, which is that January data, and go up the page all the way to January here, comma, and I want the first quartile. So we can see there, that's 0 for the minimum, and that's 1 for this first quartile. There's a number of ways you can do. You can even use a formula for minimum equal minimum, and here you can even use the word median. That's a formula. It'll do the exact same thing as quartile on NC. So highlighting that information. Now if you do it for all of the January data, there's a really quick way to work the rest out. So I'll quickly do that. January, quartile there. We're up to 3. The last one is the maximum. Oop. Okay. There we have it. So the minimum value for January for Charles Towers is a balmy 25 degrees, and the maximum value is 41 degrees. Okay. Now, as you see, I've just highlighted those 5 values, and there's a dot at the bottom of that box. That dot is a thing called flash fill that you can drag across, and it will copy that information across and work out each of the next cell. So that was our row C. And this is now working out row D, which happens for us to be February, March, April, May, continuing. Okay, so that's our 5-number summary done for each of those. Later on I'll show you how to do a box plot, but you don't actually need these values for a box plot. That's a bit of information you can drop and drag into your report as some raw data. The interquartile range is simple. You take the third quartile and subtract the first quartile's value, and you have your interquartile range. Clicking that bottom corner and dragging it across, it'll work it out for us. And that value can tell us the range of temperature. So you can see October is quite a high range, high spread of data, whereas April is probably the least spread of data. Those values are going to be very closer, much closer. Mean is equals average, and you need to select again the January data. So starting here and dragging it down. Okay. You can then hit the enter, or you can hit this tick button to finish the formula. And it's done a nice job for us to work out the mean. The average temperature in Charles Towers is 34.5 degrees in January. Pretty warm. Lastly is our standard deviation, and we want STDEV.P. Okay, that's for our population. We then need to select that data again and hit enter. Okay, that's our January values. That's our column C again. We need to take that value and drag it across. Try again. Take that value and drag it across, and that can work out that information for us. If it gives you lots of decimals like this and you're not happy with that, you can go up to the home section, click on this button here, and that will drop some of those decimals out. I reckon 1 decimal or 2 decimals is just fine for those ones. So that's our calculations. Let's have a look at how to do a box plot. Now, with our box plot, we can go straight to the raw data and select the months we want to do. Now, sometimes some people have had some issues when they select the January section here and drag it down, it tries to select the 1st to 31st as well. That can have some issues. Let's see what it does today. So I go insert, and I want a statistics chart, in this case box and whisker. Okay, and it's done a beautiful job for us there. Okay, that's our box and whisker. Just going to move this so it's a bit bigger for everyone into a new sheet. And there we have it, a nice looking box and whisker. We can fiddle with this a bit. We can get rid of that. We can go to our format and format our selection. And this gives us a number of options. First up, we can click on the series and make sure there's no inner points, because if there's inner points it looks like that. We can untick, and it has no showing of inner points, which gets rid of, just has those outliers there. Okay, that's our lovely box plot for each of the years. So you can see for each of the months. So you can see across the 3 years that I selected, a box plot has been set up for each of those, and you can draw some conclusions for that. If you're looking to go for a nice time, it's nice and cool, not too hot, that month there would be the best one, being June. Coolest for you. You can cross-reference that with some rain, a rainfall chart, and see if it's raining in that month, and that can be one of your analysis. That's our box plot. A scatter plot can be made, and with a little bit of extra information in beside our raw data. Okay, so if you're looking to do a scatter plot, say you're interested in seeing if your chosen month, January for example, is hot once a year or some of the time and not the rest of the time. If you go about inserting a new cell here, you can put the date. So this is 1st of January 2018. I put that on the wrong side, I wanted to put it here. First of January, and I can drag that down, too far, to here. It'll actually put the dates down the side there. I can continue that for each of these years, and that'll, why is that being silly? And that can be the 1st of the 1st 2017. That's that box being silly for me. And that's my January months. This information, what I'm doing currently, will help me for my scatter plot. I can put a scatter plot with a time section on it, where I can compare the averages of these against, so these dates against the temperatures, and see if there's a trend or a pattern across 3 years. Now 3 years might be a bit short, you may need better data to do that. Let's see what comes up. So I go to insert, and I go to this one here, which is our scatter, and I just want a straight simple scatter. So you can see here it's put our time axis down, our time down the bottom. Okay, so that's January, 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 and that's information scattered. I can click on this plus. No, of course I'm filming. Pause.